Hello friends, today I have to discuss something very important with you. I'll keep the content precise, so please listen to what I have to say. In this video, we'll be discussing a lot of things about what's happening energetically on the planet. We'll be discussing about what's happening with regards to the mass consciousness, the collective consciousness as a whole. And during the second half of this video, we'll be discussing about what's going on in US with regards to the US elections, because that is something very, very important and we need to keep a close eye on that. That alone will be the single most important factor which will decide which way humanity will go during the course of the next decade, starting next year. So let's start. On June 21st of this year, I made a video when it was the day of annular solar eclipse, if you remember. So I told you in that video that 2012, which the Mayans said that their calendar expires on 21st of December 2012. It's actually the year 2020. Why I say that is, as per the Ethiopian calendar also, it's this year is the year 2012 actually. And also I've made some notes here, so let me just see. So following the Julian calendar, friends, we are technically in the year 2012. The number of days lost in a year due to the shift into Gregorian calendar is 11 days, right? Now for 268 years, while we are using this Gregorian calendar, so how we came to the figure of 268 is 2020, which is this year, minus the year 1752 is 268 years. And if you multiply 268 by 11, which is the number of days lost in a year when we shifted into the Gregorian calendar, we come out to 2948 days. And 2948 days, when divided by 365 days, it comes out to be precisely 8 years. So we are exactly 8 years behind what the Mayan calendar, what the Mayans used in their calendar for the calculation of 21st December 2012. So this year 21st December 2012, this year 21st December 2020 is actually 21st December 2012. And don't take it lightly. What's happening on that difference? On that day, Jupiter and Saturn will be less than 0.1 degrees apart from each other, creating the brightest star in the skies since the Star of Bethlehem. Now it's very important to understand spiritually about all these astronomical things. Jupiter represents awakening, right? It represents coming to know who we really are, getting out of the matrix. It represents fifth dimension. It represents freedom. On the other hand, Saturn represents third dimension. It represents confinement, limitation. You can correlate that with the current lockdowns. It also represents illusion. So there's a spiritual war going on at this point of time. The planet is ascending to the fifth dimension. No one can stop it, okay? The planet is ascending to the fifth dimension, let me make it clear. But the negative forces are trying to stop this from happening. They are trying to vaccinate the population as soon as possible. They are in panic express kind of timeline. They don't have time. So they are trying to do this vaccine program as soon as possible and implement their Agenda 21, which, by the way, they've given a new terminology called the Great Reset lately. But believe me, they will not be able to stop it. This leap into a higher consciousness of the planet is inevitable. It's not happening for the first time. The phase of the cyclical time we are in this large cycle of time has happened before multiple times. So this is nothing new. The inorganic programmed entities, who by the way have no soul, who we call elites. So the people who are in the power, they are not humans actually. They don't have the soul. They are just programmed entities. They don't have heart. That's why they don't think, they don't feel. They don't have sympathy, kindness in their heart. So these programmed entities know their time is up and they will not be able to stop this. What they're just doing is their last gasp efforts, and they've already lost. They know it, they already lost. Anyways, so going back on 21st of June, I told you that on that day, from that day when it was the annular solar eclipse, I told you massive events will start happening on this planet. See, whenever some major event happens, it first happens in the casual world, which is above the astral world, the higher dimensions. The most subtle dimensions constitute the casual world. Then it trickles down, and those same things get manifested in the astral world, which we call the spirit world or the fifth dimension. Then it materializes and manifests physically in our three-dimensional world. So there is a time lag. So from June 21st, some major events have started happening on the casual world and the astral world, and some are trickling down to the physical world. But this December 14th, now I'm not talking about December 21st conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter, that's separate. December 14th, a full solar eclipse is there, a total solar eclipse is there. Just wait, this will be the appropriate time when that, as I mentioned in my previous videos, Earth is already in the photon belt. It's getting bombarded. When these major eclipses happen, it gets bombarded with the cosmic photon rays. And when that happens, major upheavals happen. Because once the planet is bombarded with those high energy cosmic rays, cosmic particles, the divine light, you may call it, nothing can be hidden. Everything will be exposed when that happens. So that's why we are seeing major upheavals, and everything will come to light. Interestingly, on that same day of December 14th, the Electoral College of US is supposed to meet, and they are supposed to get together and decide and vote for the next president. Now something big is about to happen. Believe me, it's definitely about to happen. President Trump a few days back made it clear that in the coming days some big things are going to happen. He didn't go into the details what that was, but we can take him for his word. And remember, he's just waiting for the Supreme Court decision. Remember when at the night of the US election counting, when the count was happening in all the major swing states, Donald Trump was way ahead of Joe Biden by a huge margin. And all of a sudden the counting stopped. Trump came out and addressed people for a very, very short time during that, when that happened, when the count stopped. And what he said is, he didn't say we are going to each of these swing states and we are going to challenge this kind of fraud in the local state courts. No. He said we are going to the Supreme Court. So he's only interested from the very, very beginning about the Supreme Court decisions. He was not interested what happens in the lower courts. But he had to go from the lower courts because that's the process. You cannot go directly to the Supreme Court. You have to follow a proper sequence. Now, Mike Pompeo also a few weeks back during a press conference, when asked by a reporter that what he thinks, would it be a smooth transition to the next administration? So Mike Pompeo very smilingly, he said, yes, it will be a smooth transition to the second Trump administration. So Trump is just counting on the Supreme Court. However, we cannot take it for granted that Supreme Court will give a fair decision. Because when everyone in the FBI and the CIA and the major political leaders on the both sides of the spectrum, Republican and Democrats, are compromised with the CCP money and the globalists' agenda, it's possible that Supreme Court judges can also be compromised. Now, if that happens, we can count for Trump that major thing can happen, and even martial law is not out of question. And remember, he don't have, people are saying he has time only till December 14th, whatever he can do. No, he has, as per the constitution, he has time till till January of 20th next year. Because as per the US constitution, it just mentions January 20th as the date on which a new president is supposed to be inaugurated. Okay? It does not say anything about December 14th. So, Electoral College does not necessarily need to come together and vote for the next president on December 14th. It can be delayed no later than January 20th. So, and if that does not happen, if Trump is not able to delay those things, and Supreme Court is also not showing, it's giving decision in his favor, martial law. Because Donald Trump made it clear that America cannot be a socialist country, and the America will never be sold out to the Chinese. And see, this all fraud, and in the FBI and CIA and Supreme Court not listening, and state changing rules out of nowhere without going through a proper legislative process. This is happening when Trump is president. So when some people say, okay, fight again for 2024, you will win. No, he'll not. When these things happen, when he's president and all the government machinery is under him. So just imagine what will happen when he is not a president, and when the corrupt Democratic side has all the machinery, the government machinery in their hands. What will they do? Trump has no chance to come back ever again in the Oval Office once he leaves Oval Office. So he does not need to leave unless he exposes everything. So I think he will not just go on and expose the election fraud, but he'll go on and expose everything, the complete swamp. He'll go ahead. I think once the martial law is declared, he will carry out a lot of major arrests. So mass arrests and indictments will happen in the military tribunals, I think. And so he will not just expose the CCP's involvement in this fraud and the corrupt US leaders and corporations. He will also expose the 9/11 truth, I guess. He will also expose the rampant pedophilia and adrenochrome addiction. And these are not just conspiracies. Just today, I just uploaded a 19-second video. It's a very small 19-second video in which Len Wood, who is very, very close to the president, is fighting for the president with all his heart and soul. He's the president's lawyer. So when he says that people will be shocked when these details about the rampant pedophilia and satanic worship is exposed. So when he says about it, it's not just conspiracy. It's actually exists. Like it exists. All these things exist. The elites are not just normal people like you and me. So he's going to expose this everything, because this will be his last shot at exposing everything. He will also, I think, he will also expose the existence of underground cities and tunnels used for human trafficking and harvesting. And interestingly, friends, in October, Donald Trump came out and said he will once again have a closer look whether UFOs and aliens exist or not. And just a few days back, interestingly, the former Israel space security chief, not a normal guy, former Israel space security chief, came out and said alien exists. And President Trump knows about it, and the previous administrations knew about it. He said that a galactic federation is in contact with the US government since long, and Donald Trump was about to disclose it some time back. But the aliens pleaded and said to wait because humans are not yet ready. He also said that there are some underground military bases on Mars where aliens are working together with the US astronauts, and so on. So I believe Trump will give a full UFO and alien disclosure as well. So I just want to say, friends, these things are major civilizational, civilizations consciousness changing events, like the birth of Christ, the crucifixion of Christ, the fall of Rome. These are that kind of events. When I talk about Trump exposing all these things, Trump exposing pedophilia, Trump exposing adrenochrome addictions among the elites, Trump exposing the underground cities, Trump giving a full UFO disclosure. So these things are so huge that when they happen one after the other in a very small span of time, which we are talking about, maybe a month or a month and a half, people who are not ready will go insane. They will not be able to absorb it mentally and spiritually. They will not be able to understand what's going on. They will just go insane. So that's why I keep on saying, no matter how much you physically prepare with food and your medical supplies and water and a lot of other things, those are important up to a certain point, but those will not make you survive the shift in consciousness that is coming. For that, the only thing that will help you is meditation. Your spiritual preparedness, your spiritual readiness is the only thing that is going to help you. So you have to raise your vibration by meditating, by living in that frequency of love, unconditional love, service to self, service to others. I beg your pardon. So it's like raising your frequency and making your antenna strong, so that when those rays come and when the planet is bombarded by those high energy particles, your antenna is strong enough to catch those. Similar to like a strong antenna can catch far away radio stations, but a weaker antenna cannot. Similarly, if your antenna is not that strong, I'm sorry, you will not be able to be a part of that beautiful, magnificent consciousness leap, a consciousness jump event that is going to happen. It is inevitable. So if you're not a part of that, no problem, you'll have to depart, and you'll have to be again starting a new cycle of birth and death on a new planet that will be a three-dimensional planet like Earth was up until now. And then you will have your complete evolutionary journey. And then again, when that planet comes to this stage where Earth is right now, you will again be given a chance, and so on and so forth. So it totally depends on you how to utilize your time right now when you still have the time to work on yourself, on your spirit. So friends, that's it from my side in this video. And if you like this video, please subscribe and like and share, and share with your friends. Also, don't forget, the most important thing is at this point of time is don't forget to keep President Trump in your prayers. He needs our prayers more than ever. And also, we humanity need President Trump more than ever. He's the only person who can pull this off. He's the only guy in the world who can pull this off. He's in that position right now. So it's a win-win situation. You pray for him, and if he delivers, great. And finally, don't take the vaccine. Don't take the vaccine. And yesterday I heard that YouTube is now starting to delete and censor the videos of people who are making stuff which is challenging the official US election result. So, which is not official in any way. It's just the news channels, the corrupt news channels who are calling it, who are giving their own fabricated result. So that is not official in any way. However, that's the version of official election result in the eyes of YouTube. So if they start deleting the videos about election and all those things that we're discussing in this video, I will not be able to make election videos going forward. We will just be making the spiritual shift, the consciousness and spiritual kind of stuff going forward. So that's it from my side for today. Have a great day. Bye for now.